In 1867, King Kamehameha V of Hawaii received a gift from Hong Kong: 8 axis deer. He then cheerfully released them on Molokai. What he never expected was that just 150 years later, these 8 deer would bring great trouble to all of Hawaii. Their descendants are now all over Molokai, Oahu, Lanai, Maui and other islands. Even more astonishingly, their population now exceeds 120,000 individuals, and they have become one of the most troublesome invasive species in Hawaii. The axis deer, also known as the chital or spotted deer, originates from the forest regions of Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh and India. It is the most common deer in that region. They have a white underbelly with a light reddish-brown coat covered in white spots, giving them a beautiful appearance. Their height at the shoulder is about 90 centimeters, 35 inches. They can weigh up to 85 kilograms, 187 pounds, and have a lifespan of about 20 to 30 years. Originally, Hawaii only had 2 native mammal species, the hoary bat and the monk seal. After Polynesians and Europeans set foot on the islands, they successively brought pigs, horses, sheep, goats, cattle, rats, rabbits, and other mammals. Coupled with the fact that Hawaii was a major maritime shipping hub at the time, species from all over the world were brought ashore by smugglers' ships. Naturally, many of these alien species later took over the territory and food sources of native species, driving many of them to extinction. According to a 2017 study published in the journal Nature, Ecology and Evolution, Hawaii and Florida in the United States have the highest number of invasive species among islands and continental coastal areas globally, respectively. The success of the axis deer's growth and development in Hawaii can be described as a model for biological invasion. According to expert estimates, there are about 70,000 axis deer on the island of Molokai, while the human population there is only about 7,000. The second largest island, Maui, has about 70,000 axis deer, while other smaller islands have about 50,000. The main islands of Hawaii have an area of only 16,000 square kilometres, about 6,200 square miles, but are home to at least 100,000 deer. The reason axis deer have been so successful in Hawaii is that the vegetation and fauna here are ecologically naive. The native species lived very comfortable lives. They were innocent and fearless, having never evolved any defense mechanisms. This allowed invaders like the axis deer, wild boar and goats to feed and reproduce freely without any worries. Furthermore, there are no fierce predators or carnivores here. Consequently, the axis deer are completely unopposed. They do not even have a specific breeding season. Instead, fawns are born year-round. This allows their population to grow almost without limit. This has led to the devastation of Hawaii's ecosystem by the axis deer. The nests of ground-nesting birds are constantly destroyed by them. The green leaves and young shoots of various plants are a tasty meal for them. Farmers' fruits, vegetables and sugarcane meet the same fate. The destruction of lush vegetation by the deer has increased the fragility of the natural environment on the Hawaiian Islands. Soil is washed out to sea, leading to the degradation of coral reefs. Furthermore, axis deer also provide a food source for another invasive species, the mosquito, and threaten human health and safety. When they die and no animals eat their carcasses, it pollutes the environment and creates health hazards for people. The fragile freshwater environment on the islands is also heavily impacted. Axis deer also tend to dart across roads, posing a fatal threat to drivers. Although sacred to Hawaiians and crucial for the local water supply, Hawaii's endemic ohia tree, which grows in the high-altitude forests, is also threatened by the deer. This tree can take root in volcanic rock and grows 20 to 25 meters, 65 to 82 feet tall. When surrounded by clouds and fog, water condenses on its leaves and drips to the ground, collecting in reservoirs. In fact, the ohi'a tree is susceptible to a fungus that forms lesions on its bark. Before the tree can heal these wounds to prevent fungal infection, the axis deer will bite and rub their antlers against the tree, making the wounds slower to heal and ultimately causing major damage that can lead to the tree's death. As you can see, the invasion of the axis deer is truly a massive problem. Although Kamehameha V is praised as the last king of the Kamehameha dynasty, revered as much as the first king, it is clear now that he created a crisis for the islands and left a huge problem for future generations. Because axis deer have no natural enemies, the people of Hawaii must hunt them, and it is considered a part of traditional culture, especially in rural areas. Many families have acquired extra freezers to store deer meat. However, most of the axis deer in Hawaii live on private land. Although a hunting license costs only $20 a year and can be applied for online, complex procedures and regulations during the hunt make the effectiveness of hunting very low. In addition to reaching an agreement with the landowner, each hunter must be accompanied by an inspector from the Department of Agriculture to conduct a health check on the wild deer after it has been hunted. Additionally, there is another rule hunters must follow regarding humane treatment. Only a single shot is allowed per deer. This bullet must render the animal instantly unconscious, meaning you have to shoot it right in the skull. If you fail, your only option is to wait until night, bring military-grade night vision goggles, or even use a drone to find the deer you want to hunt in order to perform this humane act. Moreover, US law allows you to donate the meat you've hunted to those in need. After that, you must pass a few inspections before you can enjoy it yourself. However, Hawaii has no legal meat processing operations. Therefore, even if a professional hunter wants to sell the deer meat, they must ship the hunted deer to the mainland US for processing, then ship it back for sale. This causes the price of axis deer meat here to be sky high. Axis deer are very intelligent and resilient animals. Therefore, Hawaii has a plan to build fences in 30% of its key areas to protect endangered species from the deer. Fences nearly 4 meters high are needed to completely stop them. This is certainly a massive and difficult investment to implement. Looking at all this, you might think it's overly complicated. But if Hawaii were in China, the problem would be much simpler. The foodies there could quickly return the deer population to the state it was in when they first invaded Hawaii 150 years ago, all in a short amount of time.